Meanwhile, on the island, Frank Worsley did his best to keep up the spirits of the party. Every morning he'd sing out, "Roll up your bags, boys, Shackleton may come today." Owing to the long periods of darkness which prevail in these latitudes, they were compelled to stay under the rude shelter of the upturned boats, and their only light was from blubber oil. Shackleton's first attempt to rescue the marooned party on Elephant Island was made in the trawler Southern Sky, which was lent to him by Lord Salverson's whaling company. He, Crean and I set out full of high hopes of getting our comrades off in 4 days. We were doomed to disappointment. We met the pack ice 60 miles north of the island. It was too dangerous to force our unprotected steel whaler through the heaving floes. Between the first and second attempts was a weary, harassing time. Shackleton, almost distracted, searched everywhere for a suitable vessel. At last he secured help. The Uruguayan government came to our aid with the trawler Institutio Pesca. This time we actually sighted the island, but a low-lying mist hid us from the view of Wild's party, and again we were driven back by the accursed ice. For Shackleton's third rescue attempt, the British and Chileans in the Magellan Straits raised the money to charter and fit out a schooner 60 feet long. Her official name was the Emma. We headed south into the pack ice 100 miles north of Elephant Island. That was nearly fatal. We had our gear carried away, and once again were beaten by the ice, and were lucky to get out alive. For the fourth attempt, the Chilean government came nobly to the rescue. They lent Shackleton the little steamer Yelcho. Before we left Punta Arenas, he told me to get ample delicacies, tobacco, and drink for the 6 days' return journey to Punta Arenas. We had good luck and fine weather. As I navigated through the bergs around Elephant Island on August the 30th, 1916, Shackleton peered with almost painful intensity through his binoculars. At last he sighted the men and counted them. He shouted to me, "They're all there, skipper." Shackleton's face showed more emotion than I had ever known it showed before. Crean joined us, and we were all unable to speak. Then Shackleton galvanized into life, and it sounds trite, but years literally seemed to drop from him as he sloughed off 4 months of never-ceasing anxiety. Men's delight at seeing us can be better imagined than described, and it was with no sigh of regret that we turned our backs on that desolate island. We got them aboard at 1 p.m., and at 1 a.m. there was not a drop of liquor left. My calculations had been all wrong, but the poor fellows deserved a good time. They had lived in misery for 128 days of Antarctic winter since we had left them. We returned with our men to Punta Arenas, and then went on to Valparaiso, where we got a magnificent reception. Every boat that could be sailed or rowed was out, with the British flag at one end and the Chilean at the other. The whole Chilean Navy was moored in 2 lines in the bay. The warships were dressed with bunting, and men shipped as we steamed proudly down the lines in the little Yelcho. The Chileans cheered us, and we cheered ourselves hoarse in reply. When we landed, they welcomed us so heartily that they nearly pushed us into the sea again. Town hall was near, but we had to form a football scrum to reach it. Shackleton was decorated with the Chilean order, and hospitality was showered upon us. We all went over the Andes to Buenos Aires, and then Shackleton sent the party home to England. He and I returned to Valparaiso, and from there on to New Zealand, to get the other party from the Ross Sea. But that's another story.